Okay, the first thing you want to do is take your throttle lever and move it at least 50% forward until this thing goes on. It has something to do with the electrical system. Okay, move throttle back. Let me look down. We need this one, that's a pitot heater switch. So the instruments don't freeze in high altitude. Then we switch on the dust filter, that's this one. Then we take that black lever below, that's the propeller RPM lever, and we push it all the way forward. Then magnetos, left and right. Stick out of the way. Main tank on. Okay, then we go over here to the primer pump. We unscrew it by mouse wheeling. And we pump it 4 times. That's for Northern European summer daytime weather. You see this little lamp over here? Now we have to keep switching this until it goes off. Okay, now screw those caps. There's a canopy. And now we have to hold both this and this button, and while the rotor blades are catching, you have to press your M key or push this lever forward. And then you let go of those keys. So, the hotkeys for those are by default the delete and the home key. Okay, now the engine is running. Okay, now let's continue with taxiing to the runway. Taxiing on this plane works by pressing your wheel brake. As you can see, the controls indicated in the lower left. And if you use your rudder left or right, using one wheel brake only. That's how you steer during taxiing. Okay, so I know my runway is in that direction, so I'm going to give it some speed. Rudder. And if it starts sliding, you have to anticipate and catch it in the other direction. Straightening it out. This. What the plane wants to do naturally is it wants to turn to the left because of the engine torque. I'm like this. I'm giving it some speed. I'm using the natural tendency to turn this direction. And on the other direction, and now we should be almost straight. We're almost straight. Okay, now taxiing, now we are at the runway. Now takeoff is a bit tricky in this plane because of how twitchy it is. So what you want to do is you want to trim. This way that's a nose trim. I like to set this one down to a half notch above 0. Like this. Now for rudder trim, wait, is it rudder? Yeah, it's rudder trim. Now moving this about 25% to the right. You see the rudder like this. Okay. Now, when you're taking off, there's 2 things to watch out for. The first thing is the plane will start to try to drift, and if you overcorrect your drift, you end up in the grass. The second thing is if you take off too fast, then the following thing might happen. You have too much engine torque and too little airspeed, which means the engine torque overwhelms the airspeed, the aerodynamics of the plane, and it flips on its roof, and you land in the grass and you're dead. So those are the things you have to watch out for. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the stick all the way to the right. Tap to my stick. Okay, all the way to the right. And I'm going to start to give it some throttle and balance it. Okay, and we're airborne.